Ready to elevate your credit understanding and score? With insider tips and a plan, you can take action to improving your score, which can save thousands in unnecessary finance charges. Let's tackle today's topic with your coach, Credit Christy.
Hey friends, it's Christy, your credit coach. Thanks so much for joining me for another episode. I just saw a wild report from USAA, and they revealed that nearly half of Gen Zers don't understand what makes good credit. The study was done by a financial services company headquartered in San Antonio, and it showed that 45% of Gen Zers, which is people born between 1997 and 2012, 45% of this generation is unaware of what factors affect credit scores. And they also revealed that about 1 in 5 have never looked at their credit score. The oldest member of the Gen Z clan here, they're turning 28 years old this year. 28 years old, and 1 in 5 have never even looked at their credit score. And nearly 50% don't know what factors affect their credit score. Guys, we've got to do a better job of taking control of our finances, and the foundation of that is education. How can you win a game if you don't know the rules in which to play by? And that's what credit is all about, understanding what is reflected on your credit report, what makes up your credit report, and then how to reflect healthy behaviors. So the last thing that blew my mind about this report is that it showed that 81% of Gen Zers know that it's important to have good credit, but 54% have anxiety over checking their score. And they listed the obvious for what would be obstacles to achieving a perfect score, which the majority had listed rising costs of living, overspending, credit card debt, and student loans. So no shock there. They get the bigger picture, but the lack of crucial understanding how credit works, how it affects their long-term financial goals, I think we've got to start with the absolute basics. So if you are a Gen Zer or you have one in your life, share this episode with them, and let's dive in quickly to the 5 pillars of credit. These are the foundations of understanding credit, and it will help you bring more confidence to your credit situation, that knowledge, and hopefully stifle out some of that anxiety. We cannot be ignorant when it comes to our credit. So our payment history, your ability to borrow money and pay it back on time. Your payment history makes up 35% of your overall credit score. And then the amounts owed, or your credit utilization, makes up 30%. So between those two, that makes up 65% of your overall credit score. So what is credit utilization? It's heavier on the side of credit cards than it is installment loans. So let's lean on the side with credit cards right now. There's a limit, which is the amount of credit that is extended to you, and then the balance, the amount that you have outstanding at any given time. If you have a $1,000 credit limit and you have $500 on a balance, you're at 50% credit utilization. And it's sometimes referred to as debt utilization. Quite honestly, credit and debt are used interchangeably when we're talking about your credit. So those amount owed, the higher that is to what's allotted to you, the more of a negative impact it's going to have on your credit score. So in a perfect world, we want you to not exceed 30% of what is allotted to you. For every $1,000 available on a credit card, try to keep your balance at $300 or below. Good rule of thumb. Next is the length of credit history, and that makes up 15%. Now, when it comes to the length of credit history, they're really just looking at the things that are open and active right now. If you bought a car 4 years ago and you just paid it off, congratulations, but that car payment is no longer part of your credit score algorithm because it's not open and active. That length of credit history just got cut. So there could be people that have had 20 and 30 years worth of credit history, but if their oldest credit card that they have open right now is only 4 years old, well, that length of credit history is actually going to be not in their favor in that case. So if you are young, either in age or in getting started with creating a credit profile, the way to overcome the length of credit history is to become an authorized user on somebody else's credit card. Let's say your Aunt Debbie has had a Discover card for 10 years. She has a high limit, low balance, and she makes you an authorized user of that credit card. You don't ever have to have a copy of that card in your wallet. You don't ever have to use that credit card. And I would encourage you not to ever use Aunt Debbie's credit card. You're just borrowing her credit history on that one trade line, that one credit card. So you don't have access to the rest of her credit profile, and she has no access to your credit profile. You're just added to be able to borrow that credit history of that one trade line, that one credit card. So that 10 years worth of beautiful repayment history, high limit, low balance equals great credit utilization. Well, that's added to your credit report. So a lot of parents will add their teenager as an authorized user on their credit card, not ever issue them that copy of that credit card, but just to start building credit on their behalf. So the next part is new credit that makes up 10%. So this literally is what it means, new credit added to your credit profile. Now, a lot of times it takes about 6 months of repayment before that credit card or new line of credit, new loan, starts having a positive effect on that payment history. But if you have new credit, that does make up 10% of your overall score. And then finally, your credit mix. In a perfect world, you have at least one loan. It could be an installment loan, which is a car loan, a student loan, personal loan, or a mortgage, and at least one credit card. Secured credit cards aren't going to help your credit profile as much as an unsecured credit card. So what does that mean? Secured means you've put $300, $500 up front and you're borrowing against it. And then it's getting reported to the credit reporting agencies for your payment history. Unsecured means, hey, we trust you. We believe you're going to make good decisions and pay back under the terms that we've agreed to. So we're going to extend this line of credit to you, $500, $1,000, $5,000, whatever that credit card allows for you as a limit, and then you make payments as agreed. There's a minimum payment, which will barely cover your interest payment, and if you can get to the point where you pay it back in full every month, don't wait until your due date on that credit card. Pay it back as soon as you can to eliminate any kind of interest payments. That's how you want to utilize credit cards. At that point, you're what's referred to as a transactor. You're simply using it for your regular life purchases. For instance, I was using a debit card at a gas station and somebody swiped my information. So never again will I use my debit card at a gas station. I use a credit card only. So use it for your gas, your groceries, and then pay it off. Try not to carry a balance forward because it's a bad habit to get into. So as you're building your credit, check your credit reports regularly. You can do that through Experian, TransUnion, or Equifax. Set up an account. It's free. You can dispute errors. You can see what's reporting, and you can keep an eye on what's happening there. So to the Gen Zers in the room, you don't need to feel anxious about credit. You just need to know more information. Ignorance is not bliss. I have 5 years worth of episodes here, so I hope you lean in, glean what you need to out of this, and start preparing your financial future, because here's what I can tell you. If you do not do a great job of establishing a great credit profile, you will pay more in interest fees due to a low credit score, and that's going to cost you more in payments. The higher payments on your car loan, credit card APRs, mortgage loan, the less you have available for the fun things and important things in life. So the better your credit score and profile, the better the interest rate, the better the terms. And it's an incredible financial tool in your overall goals and financial picture. So please share this with a Gen Zer and empower them with the foundational nuggets so that they can create the right first steps in establishing credit as they're getting started with their big next steps. Thanks so much for listening. And until next time, my friends, stay well.
Subscribe now and share with a friend to stay in the loop for new credit content and insider tips to maximize your credit knowledge. And follow Credit Christie on Instagram.